Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to PSGL. George Morgan here, your commentator, alongside me, TK, who is going to be rounding off the season with me.
Down the inside,
Absolutely impossible season.
This is for the win between these two.
I'm on the edge of my seat.
He needs to get it done now.
Blakely will dive to the inside.
We're robust. We got our elbows out.
Ronard takes the lead.
Because here comes Alfie Butcher.
Can't really complain with that one.
It's not going to be easy. The pressure is on, of course.
Yarda Watmere is your champion.
Welcome to PSGL then, ladies and gentlemen. It is round 2 for PCF5 and I'm quite excited this one. I'm not joined by Alex Bagnall today, so it's just myself, Logan Edward. Amazing. Amazing tip. I'm very excited because we go to one of the most historical tracks in F1 history. We go to Spa-Francorchamps in Belgium, on the Black Forest in Belgium. And I am very much excited for this, just because of the drivers. I mean, looking back from round 1, it was thrilling from start to finish. The qualifying, exciting, and we've got one hell of a grid on us here in PF5. It's a bit of a combination between F7, F6, and F5 from last season, all kind of pushed into one. So a lot of fast drivers, not much diverse skill, as I would say everyone's skill is around the same area. Qualifying last time didn't prove as so, but there was a reason for big gaps. It was about 1.1 seconds in between first and P18 in qualifying. So talking about that, I mean, if you did miss round 1, where have you been? It was one hell of a race and one hell of a qualifying session. That's because we had conditions go from wet all the way down to intermediate. It was not dry enough for the softs, but these drivers had to time it right, because as the clock ticked down, that track was ever so drying up. So, I mean, the man who did get pole, Alexander Kraft, a very well-deserved pole, if I do say so myself, a commanding almost 4/10. Oh, Oscar King getting that P3 spot with Molyneux getting, Oscar with Molyneux getting that P3. Both of them not that far off each other, only about a 10th or 900th separated them. Both of them in that high, that sort of high 24 range, and then you had Tech 2B in that P4, not able to clinch under a 25. So he 5-1 was good enough for that second row alongside Molyneux. Now, P5 and P7, P5 and P6 was Silly Sly Guy and Maxime Belmond, both having quite almost near identical lap times. I mean, Maxime Belmond was only half a 10th off of Tech 2B, so it was quite close between 4, 5, 6, and Gabriel Amato in P7. Almost a 10th. I mean, 98,000 of a second there, separating him from Silly Slag, from Maxime, but still 7 is not a bad result in wet conditions, and also around a quite tricky and fast flowy track of Melbourne is a quite tricky track, what I find anyway, especially in the dry. There's a lot of time to find, and it's all about that confidence. But Ryan Jacobs and Oscar Villacampa getting P9 and P8 and P9, and then everyone's favourite driver, Tom 97, rounding out the top 10 in that qualifying session. Now, qualifying was very, very spicy, as we have not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 drivers with qualifying bans coming into Belgium. I will get on to my god, my brain's not working. Who out of the 20, who out of the 4 drivers do have that qualifying ban? But the race was one hell of a race. It did not start wet, which was a quite good thing. It did start dry, and I think it also ended dry. It ended dry, if I'm not mistaken. I may be mistaken. If I am, let me know in the chat. Also, how is everyone doing? That is the main thing. But it was Oscar King who won by 3 not 3/10 of a second over at Alexander Kraft. Those guys were going head to head, side by side, for almost the whole race. I mean, Alexander Kraft led that initial phase, and then Oscar King came out of nowhere and just sort of commanded that lead. And you know, the final lap was close between them, but Alexander just could not find any way through. Tech Tubi coming home with that podium position, a little bit far away, but Tom 97 from P10 to P4 going for the overcut, and it worked tremendously well. There was a little bit of a scrappy between a few people in front of him, but it just allowed him to catch up, and then he had the, you know, the better tires, he had that tire offset advantage, and that allowed him to really command and take that P4 position, with Molyneux going from P to P5. Not bad result. P5, I mean, in this quite competitive tier, can't be mad with that of a result. Now, Ryan Jacobs, Tom 97's teammate, did finish in that P6 spot with Silly Side Guy, Spezzi, Lucas Herrera, and Giovanni Galiotto, my bad, rounding out the top 10. I'm not good with names, by the way, guys, so if any of the F5 drivers are watching, or their engineers are watching, I am so sorry for advance. Sadly, I'm not joined by Alex Bagnall, who is probably the same area of me of we both struggle with these drivers' names, especially ones that to us sound completely different. So I will get better by the time we get to the mid-season, or probably after round 3 when we have that week break. I will most definitely have all these names nailed, and they'll be sliding off the top of my tongue like butter. I don't know. And also, there will be a start at the end of this race, because obviously we have the quality ban for those drivers. Now, those drivers who do sadly have a quality ban, if I find it, is Oscar King, Spezzi, Lucas Herrera, and Formula Kai. 4 drivers who I did not expect. It was just because, from what I remember, everyone was backed up at the end of the quali, and it was very, very messy, and some drivers weren't able to get out of the way, and it, you know, I'm sugarcoating the way, but there was a little bit of messiness in the qualifying, and obviously it resulted in a qualifying ban. But today's grid order, not grid order, but today's lineup for the race is in the Papai McLaren. You have Lucas and Maxime Belmond. Obviously, both of those had quite a good showing, especially Maxime, in that qualifying. So I'm very excited to see what the two Papayas can do coming into this race. In the Scuderia Ferrari, you have David Martinez and Lorenzio. I don't remember seeing Lorenzio from round 1. That might just be because my brain fried over the course. He probably was there. I probably just missed him. But David Martinez was not. So this is going to be his first round. And I can't wait to see what he can do, as I expect some quite good things from Martinez. Now, in the Red Bull, you have, obviously, Alexander Kraft and Red Mears. Now, I don't know if Red Mears is actually here, as I saw in the absence thread that he may not be coming. I may be wrong. I may be C. But, from what I'm seeing, it is going to be Alexander Kraft and Red Mears in Red Bull car. Now, in Mercedes, you have Oscar Villacampa and Spezzi. Ooh, what a lineup that is. I mean, I remember watching Spezzi from Tom 97 videos. I know how quick of a driver he is, and I know he can put on a really good show for us, and same with Oscar Villacampa. Now, in Aston Martin, you have Machude, Jesus, and Kryzik. Now, Kryzik had some technical difficulties as he was driving while a storm was passing by his house, from what I saw from the YouTube chat. Now, Kryzik, I do know he is a quite good and fast driver, so I do expect some good things, but sadly, technical, there's not much he can really do, but he did carry on with the race as best as he could, so I really do applaud that. That is, you know, a good mentality to keep on going, even when things aren't going the way you want it to go. Anyway, in the Alpine, you have Lucas Herrera and Lumi, and obviously Lucas Herrera does have that qualifying ban, and will have to serve it, hence we have a after qualifying. Now, in the Haas, you have Tom 97 and Ryan Jacobs, 2 drivers who I admire. Tom 97, I've, you know, watched his videos for ages, and Ryan Jacobs, he was in the tier that I first commentated in, and, you know, I've talked to him outside of stream, and he's such a nice guy, and he's a really, really fast driver. So, I mean, If you ever see him out on track, or if you ever do have the privilege to race against him, and you are in luck. In the Visa Cash App RB car, you have Will Gibson and Formula Kai. Formula Kai does have that quali ban, and Will Gibson not here for round 1. So I can't wait to see what he can produce for us coming into Belgium. Obviously, I do very quick league racer. So I do expect some good things from him. And in the Williams, you have Oscar King and Giovanni. Oscar King being round 1 winner. I'm hoping, I don't know how well he can do from sort of that back 4, as one of the people who have that quali ban. I'm sort of expecting to sort of just try and sit in that sort of bottom top 10, maybe not even clinching top 10. We're just gonna have to find out, because Belgium's one of those ones where you can overtake almost anywhere. You know, as long as you're racing against the right people, you know, you can get in a clean overtake anywhere. Where there's some tracks like Imola, like, you can't overtake at Aqua Minerale. It's too quick and too tight, in my experience. Whereas Belgium, I mean, you could say Bus Stop is a bit of an iffy one. I mean, these guys are amazing. These guys are a lot better than me. I can't overtake Bus Stop because I just lock up because I'm kind of buns at it. But anyway, in the Kick Sauber, you have Tech Tubi and Lorenz Patton. Lorenz, again, one of the drivers who I have commentated for in the past in different leagues. And from what I saw from him, he was a quite quick league racer. He wasn't in the top 3, he wasn't in the top 5. But I do know he does have the pace for that. Tech Tubi, well, I mean, he showed it in round 1. Now, we are in the qualifying session. So let me show you what these drivers are all doing. Let me... I'll find the right one. Anyway, we are in the qualifying session. And one person's on intermediate, but that's Formula Kai. I was about to say, is he going to do an Inters run? But he's got, sadly, that, you know, qualifying ban. Now, I think we may even have the privilege of seeing Tech Tubi go first. Yes, it is going to be a Kick Sauber starting off this qualifying session. Oh, yeah, everything's fine. Now, obviously, Belgium's one of those ones where it's quite of a difficult track in the fact of, you know, there's many overtaking corners, there's long straights, you know, it's a really low wing track, and some people may use 0-0 wing, some people may use 1-5, you know, there's different wing variations that we're going to see, and which ones are going to be the best? We're going to have to just find out and see, as round the bus stop chicane comes Tech Tubi to start off this qualifying session. Making our way down towards that turn 1, braking just after that 100-meter board, caressing the inside curb, trying to get straight onto the power as early as possible, as you've got a flat section of Radion and Eau Rouge, probably one of the most satisfying corners, as it's just a little bit of wheel movements, as it's just all about trying to not scrub off many speeds. Now down the Camel Straight, as we see the braking markers for Lacombe braking in between the 100 and the 50, trying to attack the curbs as much as you possibly can. Flat round the end of Lacombe. Now you come down to probably one of my least favourite corners. It's a downhill braking into an awkward off-cambered sort of throttle zone in towards No Name. A slight lift, aggressive on the wheel, aggressive on that exit curb as you make your way down towards the infamous flat round Pouon. Got to be really careful you don't overcommit and go over that limit, because that is just going to be very, very upsetting. Now through the turn 12 and 13 chicane, as you come through towards the end of Sector 2, got one more corner, and then it's the infamous long back straight round Blanchimont. And this is where you've got to sort of get in the mentality of, I've got one of the hardest corner sections coming up. It's going to be the bus stop chicane. I've got to make sure I get it right. I can't lock up. I can't brake too late. So what can Tech Tubi do? Just braking after the 100-meter board. Got to be attacking the inside curbs. As you can see, losing the back end in towards the pit. Tech Tubi's like, you know what? Not worth it. Really, really not worth it now. Let's see, who is up next? It may be Giovanni. Yes, it is. So, towards the line, what can he do? It's a 41.0, but Lorenz Patton, the 40.4, 6 tenths faster than Giovanni Galito. So, quite nice lap there, and I believe we have Alexander Kraft coming up towards the line very, very soon, but it is going to be Lorenzio who comes up first. What can he say? It's going to be a 41.1011, sorting himself into that provisional P2 spot, and it's Alexander Kraft, the man who got pole in Australia, who just clinches behind Lorenz Patton by almost half a tenth. You know what? We're just going to do that. There we go, half a tenth in behind, but it's Ryan Jacobs who breaks that half a tenth gap and not far behind and sits quite comfortably into that P2 spot. Up next is going to be everyone's favourite YouTuber, Tom97, as he's coming away through the chicane. Really nicely done. A little bit of a wheel, could have almost spun, but didn't. That's the main thing. Now through towards turns, don't know the corners here in Sector 3 off the top of my head when I should, but through Blanchemont now, it's all about sort of trying not to scrub speed, is similar to Puan and Arouge Radion, but towards the bus stop chicane. Can Tom97 nail it? It seems as though he can. What sort of exit can he get? He's got 21% of battery left, and it's only going to be a P10 run. He's the last of the first runners here, as there's a lot of messiness in that Sector 2 area. As let's go to Machu here, who's going to be the one up next, but no, he's not on a lap. He's on the cooldown. As just so much yellowness in that Sector 2. I think it's just drivers starting their lap and drivers finishing their lap. It's kind of messy, and it just, you know, it produces this, and it's going to be the same of Lucas SL here. He's just going to have to sort of recharge the battery and maybe go again, because I don't think he's really pushing. Unless he is, and I might be wrong. I think I'm wrong. Yeah, I am wrong. Through the bus stop chicane, a little bit deep, missing the curb, and no, we are in towards the pits, so yeah, I was wrong. Also, Oscar Villacampa into that P8 spot, Kryzik P7, David Martinez P6, and Max Belmont into that P9 spot. 2 thousandths in front of Tom97. I did not realise the sort of gap there. But the top three of Lorenz Patton, Ryan Jacobs, and Alexander Kraft are massively in front by a staggering 0.475. That is marvellous, to say the least. That just shows these top three are ready to sort of leave the pack at the end. Not at the end, but at the start of the race. But Tektubi is on a lap, if I'm not mistaken. Obviously, having a little bit of a wobble midway through the bus stop. And he was like, I'll come into the pits now. So, what can he produce? Can he do a faster lap than what he did? Provisional fastest in that first sector. Really aggressive over the Lacombe curbs. And he's gone a bit too aggressive on the exit. And he's just met the gravel trap. And is he still going to push on, or is this just going to be of, I'm going to sort of save the ERS. I've only done one sector. May as well save. Actually, is he still plodding on? Is he pushing the kick Sauber? I think he is. Is really, really on the limit there. Almost going over track limits through Puon. Now, through my favourite chicane of this whole track, you know, you've got to really set up for the exit, as it can be done near flat. And then it's a slight lift for the next, or no, not a slight lift, but down towards 2 gears to 4th, maybe 3rd, depending on your setup and wings. You know, you may need that 3rd if you really are getting that understeer. But through Blanchemont now, I think he is still pushing on. So it may not be the best of a laps for Tektubi, but it could still be a quite good lap. From what I've seen, there was only one quite big mistake, but no. In towards the pit he comes. He was just pushing towards the pit entry, I guess. Now, let's just see who is up next, I believe. It's going to be, I'm just trying to see it. Well, it could be Will Gibson, actually, who is on a lap. So, let's just see what he can produce, as I'm quite excited to see Will Gibson drive, as I've heard a lot of good things about him as a driver. As I know he's quite quick. Obviously, renowned league racer in PSGL, and in towards the pits he comes. So, yet to settle at 9 minutes on the clock. Could be enough for 2 more runs, but let's go back to David Martinez here. Everyone on fresh softs to what I can see. So no one going for another used run. I think that's sort of what we saw from Tech maybe he was on a used set of tyres, seeing if he could have maybe improved, made the mistakes. It was like, you know what? Let's just get onto a fresh set. So Alexander Kraft actually going to be the first one to set their second run. So what can he do? All he needs is half a tenth improvement to try and dethrone Lorenz here, but he's definitely going to want more. He doesn't want pole. He doesn't only want pole, I mean, but he also wants a nice marginal gap, or a nice sturdy gap, to give him that breathing room for when he gets on his final run. So, what can he do? Down the Camel Straight, he's found the time that could put him onto pole, but we still have 2 sectors to go, so anything can happen here in this final bit of the lap. So, through towards the bottom, top hairpin, I mean, the corner before No Name, and, well, it does have a name, but I don't know what it is. Little bit of a lift. I think he just went half throttle there because you heard the engine sort of quieting down, but not as much. Now through Puon. Nicely done flat. Nowhere near the track limits there, which just shows that maybe he is on a little bit of a higher wingage. I know you can do it flat on 0-0, but I don't know how well. Obviously, I haven't played Spa in quite a while, but through towards the right-hander, caressing the inside curb here and there, and Alexander Kraft just showing why he's someone to maybe be in the sort of spotlight for this season, as through Blanchemont we go, and it's nicely done, smooth, doesn't meet the outside curb, which you don't need to, breaking out the 100-meter board now. What can he do through bus stop? It's perfect, hits the first curb with precision, second one caresses it, and towards the line, it's going to be pole by 0.2.5 tenths. Nicely done by the Oracle Red Bull Racing driver. I saw Lucas there get a little bit of an improvement up towards that P7 spot, if I'm not mistaken. Kryzik goes down to that P8, and it's Machu up to the P4. Just, not really just, but about 0.15 behind Ryan Jacobs here. So, quite good lap there from Machu. And who is up next? I believe it's going to be Lorenzio. And he is up on time. Don't think it'll be enough for a position gain, but it could be enough just for a little bit of a marginal gain. As towards the line, what will it be? It's barely a gain. 0.038 there from Lorenzio. And that's Max Baumann proving. So, nicely done. Also there, Kryzik improved. Giovanni improved. And I'm just trying to see the order here. Who is up next? We do have Tom 7 who's coming into the pit. So could it be Ryan Jacobs? He found time. He did improve up to that P2 spot. I'm just trying to see who's up next. I think it's going to be Giovanni. Yes, it will. So he did not improve. But what can he do? He does improve just in front of Kryzik. And then it's going to be Oscar Villacampa, who goes up to that P6 spot. And he goes up as I swap to that P11 cam. So up next, I'm just trying to see. It is gonna be Will Gibson, if I'm not mistaken. Provisional fastest in that middle sector. Not Will Gibson, I mean Tech Will Gibson is just exited that sort of sector 1. So, what can Tech do? Provisional fastest in the sector 2. I didn't see the sector 1 split. Really aggressive over the first bit of bus stop. Nicely and calm through the final bit towards the line. Will it be good enough? It's good enough for P7. 0.6 dead, 2 thousandths off Oscar Villacampa, and really nicely done by himself. So let's watch the only person who's not retired, who's yet to sell a lap. It's gonna be Will Gibson, the man on your screens. Really nicely done through the final bit of Sector 2. What can you do in Sector 3 though? It's mainly just all flat up until the bus stop chicane. So really, it's really nice and easy, but, you know, a lot of people do get scared by the bus stop chicane because of how difficult of a corner it is. It's quite easy to go deep or just miss the curb, but Will Gibson hits it beautifully, and into the pits he comes yet again. Will Gibson still yet to sell a lap here in qualifying. I am very confused. Did he make a mistake midway through his lap? Is Tech on another lap? No, he's not. So, that's everyone's second run. And, I mean, Alexander Kraft topping the tables by 178 in front of Ryan Jacobs. Not too bad, actually. Could we maybe see these drivers creep into the 39s? Potentially. Probably not. Probably only about 2 or 3 drivers. I wouldn't say any more than that, though, as a 39.9 is remarkably quick. I mean, a 40.2 is insanely quick. Quicker than I could ever go. I mean, a whole second quicker than my PB on this game, and it just shows how quick these drivers are, because look at their gaps from P4 downwards to P8, only sort of 4 tenths, probably not even that separates them. It's the competitiveness of the grid. And obviously, as we sort of come towards the dying stages of the qualifying, we'll see those gaps between sort of P1 and P7 really be cut down in half to what I expect. I mean, Spa is a massive track, 7 kilometers long, so, you know, a lot of areas where you can make a mistake, so that in itself is quite difficult, but these guys have hours, not even, probably thousands of hours, most of them, on this game and on this track alone, so, you know, a mistake can happen here and there, but I wouldn't say it's every single lap, so I'm very excited to see what we can do, what we can see from these drivers coming towards the end of this qualifying, as the person on your screen right now will be starting off the final runners. It's going to be Lucas SL. Then it is going to be Lorenzio in that P8 spot, and Will Gibson behind with, if I'm not mistaken, I am mistaken, it's going to be Machu. Then it's going to be Max Bellman. Then it's going to be David Martinez. And then it will be Giovanni after Martinez. So let's go back to Lucas SL and see what he can do on his final qualifying run. Right now, provisional P12, looking to make a gain. Only 100th behind David Martinez. And about a 10th off of Kryzik for that P10 spot. So, setting up for his final run here, starting with a wider line, just to get that exit speed towards the main straight. It's a long straight, but it is still necessary, as it really does set you up for the start, well, for the line in towards turn 1. Nicely done through La Source. Now, what can you do through Erosion Radion? The towering hill, really nicely done. You got to attack the curbs, use them to rotate the car rather than the wheel, sort of to just minimize the scrubbing of speed. Now down the Kemmel straight, we'll probably see many drivers go 2, maybe 3 abreast. But through Lacombe, really nicely done. Got to attack the curb as much as you possibly can, minimizing that track distance. Flat through the third bit of Lacombe, down towards the hairpin. Lorenz Patton with a 5-place grid penalty. I don't think that's going to hold, as we do have a lobby restart after qualifying here through No Name. Really nice and smooth. I did not see that Sector 1 split from Lucas, but through Pouon now, again, it's sort of similar to what we saw from Alexander. Didn't really go towards that white line with the left tyres. It was just really the right, just sort of on the curb. So it's very easy flat, and I would probably say we may see some drivers attempt it towards in the race. It's not the, you know, it's quite rare you see people do flat through Pouon, but it's very easy even in a race trim sort of setup. But provisional fastest in that sector 2 goes Lucas. What can he do? He was only about half a tenth up in that sector 2, so was there a little bit of a mistake near the beginning bit of sector 2? I don't know, but through the bus stop towards the line now, he sees the checkered flag waving. He's the first one to finish, and up to P6 he will go. It's now Lorenzio to cross the line up next. He's found some time. He's up just behind Lucas into that P7 spot. It's going to be Will Gibson. He can't box this time. What will he do? It's up to P5 with a 40.6 as well. It's then going to be Machu up to P5, who just beats out Max Bellman into P4. And what can David Martinez do? Remains into that P3 spot. So, we've got a little bit of a break, and then it's going to be Giovanni up next. He's found a 10th. This is going to nicely set him still behind Tech Tubi, if I'm not mistaken, or maybe I barely passed my maths GCSE, so I might be a bit off there. But Giovanni towards the line, where will he be? It's going to be P8 in front of Lorenzio and behind Lucas. Lorenz Batten retakes that P2 spot from Ryan Jacobs, but Ryan Jacobs takes it back and says, no, not today, Lorenz. Alexander Croft crosses the line to improve his pole lap by a marginal gap. And Tom 97 to round out qualifying. Where does he finish? As obviously, it qualify at P8. Tom 97 finishes P8. So he gets a better qualifying position than what he did in Australia. And that is good. So we saw Tom 97 be able to gain massive amounts in the race. So I'm expecting maybe we see that today. Alexander Kraft, Ryan Jacobs, and Lorenz Patton rounding out the top 3 with Oscar Villacampa and Max Bellman in towards that P4 and 5 spot. Mathieu de Jesus, Will Gibson, Tom 97, Lucas Assau, and Giovanni Galli. I'm just going to say Giovanni, and I'm not going to attempt that last name because I know I'm going to get it wrong, but they ran out your top 10, and obviously we had about 6, maybe 7 drivers not do that qualifying session. Actually, no, it was 6 because we had 14 people finish. I know my maths. Anyway, as we do have a lobby restart, you will get to see my face. Yet again, I do believe it is a lobby restart. I was told this. So if it's not a lobby restart, I'll shimmer back to it. I am just going to check everything. Lorenz Patton does have a fake. I think it was a little bit of a silly 5 place grid penalty. And if you were wondering why we need to have a lobby restart after people having qualifying bans, is some of them retired instantly, probably didn't even put on their setup. And that's probably the main reason. There's probably other reasons as well. So, I mean, I'm just watching, waiting for the drivers to sort of, you know, we're probably just going to see them all crash each other out. Yeah. So. That's what I'm seeing right now. It is just massive amounts of people crashing into each other. I'm very excited for this race. I mean, there's a few people in areas where, you know, I mean, Alexander Kraft getting a pole back to back. I mean, that is cinema. And that just shows how quick of a driver he is. So have him on your radar coming into the race, as he may be one to win it. And I won't put it past him if he does. I mean, he only really lost out in Australia because Oscar King just was a defense maestro in that final lap. I mean, Alexander Kraft and Oscar King were just side by side. You know, they were neck and neck. You know, all the sayings under the sun, you could say. They were just all by each other. You know, they were. I don't think they broke a second apart from when they were in the pit window. But that's just because they boxed a lap after each other. You know, they didn't box together, if I'm not mistaken. So keep them on your radar, as that's what I'm going to be doing, because I do know that they are very, very fast. Amazing drivers. And also, if I'm not mistaken, Oscar King has some sort of relations with that Ferrari Esports, or, you know, a top team, if I'm not mistaken. I remember sort of Alex Bagnall saying that last week, or someone in the chat, and he was just in. But anyway, talking about the YouTube chat, how are you guys doing? I can't remember if I asked you this at the start of the stream. How are you guys doing? How's your week been? And are you excited to see PSGL F5 for obviously round 2? I know I am. I'm very good. I've not been able to play the F1 game as much as I want to, because I have a broken wheel. My downshift double clicks. So when I click downshift, it downshifts, and then when I release downshift, it downshifts as well. I can fix it, but I don't have the tools or the brain to, and I don't want to ruin my wheel anymore. So I've been doing quite good. I'm quite excited for this race, if I'm going to say so myself. And yeah, I think this is going to be probably one of, if not the better race. I mean, Australia was a really good race, but with the problem with Australia is it's just DRS trains. I mean, you could say that for every track, but Australia most definitely, because of the amount of zones you have. I mean, DRS isn't as important. You can quite easily get it back if you're trailing a pack. But you know, there was overtaking, but not as much as you would see around Spa or Silverstone or stuff like that. So I'm very excited for Belgium, because we definitely have a really, really nice and breathtaking race. Make sure to get your popcorn. Make sure to get your hot chocolate. It's Halloween tomorrow. Is anyone going trick-or-treating? I know I'm not. I'm staying at home and staying in bed, and I'm going to watch a Halloween movie, I think. I'm going to take this time to eat. I've not really ate today, by the way, guys. So, this bit of the stream is going to be very, very boring. Okay, my biscuit. I love these chocolate biscuits, by the way, guys. They're protein, but they're chocolate, and it's nice. So I can enjoy chocolate while not having, like, while not being fat. Not saying being fat's a bad thing. I would love that, you know. Just eat whatever I want and have no care in the world. What? What ASMR food stream? Exactly. Maybe that's what I do on my own personal Twitch. Is I'll just do ASMR eating videos. I'll do mukbang videos, but make it ASMR. Who would watch that then? You know? Do a F1 watch along while doing a mukbang video. Way, I think I should do that. I'm just trying to see. A cheeky mukbang. Yeah, of course, you know. Absolutely. Now, while we wait for us to get back into the race session, guys, come on. Give me your top 3 prediction for today's race. I'll give you mine. Right, I definitely think Alexander Croft's going to be there. I think we're going to see Alexander Croft win. Max Bellman come into P2 and Lorenz Patton come P3. Daniel Hope P1. Okay, I like that, but I swear Daniel Hope didn't qualify. I swear he just wasn't someone to qualify. And before you ask, I have 2 drinks. Because as a solo, I'm not solo commentating every week, right? The only reason I'm solo commentating is because the legend himself, Alex Bagnall, is in traffic. But, I don't want my voice to go dry. So then by the end of the race, I'm really croaky. So no one's going to want to listen to that. So I've got 2 drinks. P14 to P1. I mean, if Hamilton can go P15 to P1, I think Daniel Hope can go P14 to P1. Now, does Daniel Hope have the W11? No. But he's got the F1 25 game. You know, sorry, by the way, for the light flashing. It's my camera. It's not my lights. It's my camera. I need to get a new one. It's either get a new camera, get a new mic, or new racing wheel. I think new racing wheel. So, well, I'm definitely going to be saving up for that. But, you know what? As we wait for these guys to come in, I think we should do some pre-race info. So, Spa-Francorchamps, probably one of the most known tracks on the F1 game and also in real life. 7 kilometers long, 19 corners and 2 DRS straights. Many overtaking zones. You've got Le Com, you've got the La Source, you've got the bus stop chicane, and you've also got the turn 13 and 14 chicane just before turns 15. 15. If I'm mistaken, I need to see the corner names again. Not corner names, but the corner things. Yeah, you got turn 12, turn 13 chicane, and then turn 14 where you can also get an overtaking move. Done. Now, let's get on in towards this race then, as we are just waiting for the drivers to tune the setups. Will Bagnall be here? I don't believe so. I don't think Alex Bagnall will be here. As, well, when I messaged him saying, are you ready? He said, mate, I'm in traffic. It'll be an hour and 16. So by the time he's here, we'll probably have like 5 laps left to go. So, unfortunately, the legend himself may not be here. But it's okay because you have me, you know? Anyway, we are just waiting for the setup. Now, from my own league racing experience, and this is where I get sort of the strategies from, probably a hard medium or medium hard. That's probably the two most, obviously, that's what you could say for every track, but for this track in itself, I mean, the hards kind of last quite a while. Even with the increase of tyre wear and all of this and that, the hards still last a good portion of the race. So I would, you know, probably see, we'll see mediums go from lap 6 to 7 to maybe 8, and then go on to the hards. That's, you know, obviously it's not as powerful as it was, you know, with the softs on this track. I believe it was a soft hard sort of race, or I may be mixing that up with Bahrain, but I do definitely know a 2-stop around Spa can potentially work, but it's going to be rare. I mean, last season I raced in PSGL, I did a 2-stopper and I went from P15 to P6. So, you know, anything's possible, but obviously I was in F15 because it was my first ever time doing no assists on the F1 game. And to be very honest, I didn't do half bad. And obviously I'm not as quick as these guys, and these guys are sort of my idols because these guys are rapid, and when I commentate, I try and see how these guys race, and I try and implement it in myself. Obviously, I don't see their ERS usage or, you know, their setups, but I can see how they drive the car, and, you know, I can obviously see who's got higher and lower wings. You know, we're definitely going to see on the Camel Straight who's got that 0-0 wings and who's got the 5-1 wings. Someone said turn the game audio up, so I'm going to do it a little smidge. Do a little bit more. I am pausing out the game because I sadly don't have a stream deck. I should get one, you know, be like George Morgan with his stream deck when he's doing PCF1. But anyway, the lights are on, engines are roaring, and we are raring to go. It's a good start there from Alexander Kraft. It's quite equal between Lorenz Pan and Max Bellman in the background. Lucas Assel getting really already nice and ballsy, but oh, Lorenz Patton down the inside is very mucky, and you see Tom 97 P8 to P4, Tom 97, oh my lord, he's licked the stamp and sent it, just like what Lorenz Patton done, but there was damage there between the top 3. I'm just trying to see who's got there on the front wing. I don't know who it is. I think it's either Lorenz or maybe even Max Bellman, but you see Giovanni getting nice and ballsy down the inside. He's almost shoved onto the... Whoa, there was Will Gibson there, having to break on the middle of Lacombe, and you see Giovanni losing a lot of rear end. There's so much happening, my brain can't compute. You've got drivers spinning, rear-ending each other, all throughout the grid. What a mucky start towards a Belgium Grand Prix. And you can see in the background, Lorenzio's off the track. He's gone tumbling around, and I believe Daniel Hope also getting massively hit as he's got barely a front wing. We've got a VSC out already. Alexander Kraft has a massive lead of a 1.2 seconds. And we've only got a virtual safety car. What started at the start of this race? Will Gibson having to stop out of nowhere in Lacombe, meaning someone rear-ends him. Daniel Hope and Lorenzio having an incident. Lorenzio getting sent into the barriers, and Daniel Hope having no front wing. You could not have said, you can't say this is scripted or anything, because I did not expect that. It's a 4-5 for the Haas boys. Tom 97 looking marvellously well, by the way. Up 4 positions already, and also on the medium compound of tyre. Ryan Jacobs in towards the pit lane. I think he's the one who had that front wing damage going into the turn 1. My biggest question is, though, could we maybe see Tom97 somehow take the lead with these tyres? We're back to the green flag racing. DRS is re-enabled. And it's P4 and 5 who are on the medium tyre, and already Lorenz Patton getting ballsy, getting down the inside of Alexander Croft, and up towards the lead he will go. On towards lap 2, he's got the DRS, and he'll be able to defend his position. Oscar Villacampa as well, just sort of down 2 positions, started P4 here, didn't have the best of starts. Kryzik though, look at that, up 5 positions. I'm also looking at Lucas Herrera, Oscar King, Spezzi, up 6, 7, 5 positions, and Ryan Jacobs boxing under that VSC in no man's land, up into that P16 spot. So, everything has gone off onto the start of this this Grand Prix here, and Alexander Croft down 2 positions. I mean down 1 with Lorenz Patton up 2. So the man who was starting P3, was P2 was Ryan Jacobs, and he's down to P16, and I think Lorenz Patton may have a post-race penalty because of that massive send down the inside, causing a massive collision. I don't know if he was fully at fault, but Tom97, Lucas SL, both of them on the mediums, and both of them probably going to try and look for a move here onto these next few laps. Now, one thing I do want to say is the 2 people who have not changed position is Will Gibson in P7 and David Martinez in P14. So, the top 7 are all within their own fighting, as Tom97 closing in on Max Bellman, maybe even having a chance at overtake down towards the Camel Straight. He's going to look towards the inside, he's going to pull alongside, and he may even be able to get the move done before Lacombe, and yes he will, and up towards P3, Tom97 will go, and not only that, but he slips through and moves up to P2, up the inside of Alexander Croft. That is amazing racecraft from Tom97, from P4 to P2 in the matter of seconds. Tom97, ladies and gentlemen, the man to watch for this race. That does allow Lorenz Patton to sort of comfortably slot in a 1.1 second gap, but Tom97 on the medium compound tyre surely will be able to cut down that gap. Now, I think I can already know the title of Tom97's PSGL Round 2 video. How I won Round 2 from P8. Bang. I mean, he needs to hire me as his title. I'm joking. But anyway, it was an amazing move from Tom97, and already he's backing towards the ends of Lorenz Patton. So, could we see the mighty 97 take the lead of this race? Oscar Villacampa, down 2 positions, didn't have the best of starts. Obviously, he did get jumped by Tom97 and Lucas SL, who on the more favourable compound and tyre, and Tom97 already sent the fastest lap of the race. So, I think he's doing the strategy of trying to stay with the hard runners as long as he can, as David Martinez in towards the pits, retiring from the race. We've still got a staggering 18 laps to go. I wonder what's happened there, and Daniel Hope showing his mighty pace on the mediums, breaking Tom97's fastest lap, and you can see Oscar King also making up moves up towards that P10 now, just able to get the move done past Lucas Herrera, and has the Aston Martin in the front of Kryzik. Now, obviously, the sort of grid is equaled out as the top 12 are all within a sort of DRS train of each other. You can see in the background there, the Alpine of Lucas Herrera, the Williams of Oscar King, with the Aston Martin of Kryzik not far behind. Also, Tech Tubi up from P12, up towards P8. Really nicely done. Both kicks are doing amazing. Both McLarens are doing amazing. And right now, it is a nice little fight between Haas, Kick. No, not Kick. No, Haas, Kick, and McLaren, if I'm not mistaken. Those guys are all within 7 points of each other. So, you know, not a bad round one there. Obviously, Tom 97 and Ryan Jacobs having a quite good finish position of a P4 and a P6. Now, Tom 97, though, could be looking at maybe a top 3, possibly even a win. Now, obviously, I don't want to be calling anything off right now, as there is still 17 laps to go, and he's got a very fast Alexander Kraft right behind him. So once those hard compound tires sort of heat their way back up and, you know, get in towards optimal optimal pressures and stuff, that Oracle Red Bull is going to be rapid. Now, 3 medium runners out of 17 runners, so 14 hards. And I mean, right now, Lorenz Patton just leading the way really nice and calmly. He's got a nice 0.4 second, not 0.4, but 0.4 tenth gap to Tom 97 in behind. So, I mean, he's just chilling. He does not need to fully push. I mean, by the time Tom 97 catches, like, gets within a tenth and maybe could look at overtake opportunity, I think Lorenz Patton would be willing to maybe give it up, or we even be able to defend it better with his hard compound tyre being the favourable tyre. Will Gibson as well, up a staggering 0 position. Started P7, has remained P7, but also is hunting down the Mercedes of Oscar Villacampa, and I think he will be able to get that move done shortly. But right now, Alexander Kraft really hunting down the back end of the MoneyGram Haas of Tom 97. He's going to pull alongside and try and go looking for a move in towards the bus stop. He gets it done, and up to P3, up to P2, I mean, he will go. But Tom 97 may even look for the switcheroo, but no. He's just going to sit in behind and be like, you know, I'm in a good position. I don't need to really go for this P1 and P2. It's a long race. I don't have the better tyres. My tyres are going to die, so there's no point in me leading. I'll try and stay with the hard runners as best I can and try and go long. I think that's what Tom 97 is going to try and do. Go long as possible on these mediums, so when he gets into hards, he's going to be on equal playing field with the ones swapping off of the swapping off of the hards going to the mediums. Now, Oscar King getting the move done on Krysic, who does have a 10-second penalty. And Tekchubi is on the back end of the mighty Will Gibson. So will we see a move done from the kick Sauber onto the V-carb, going through turn 12, 13? That could be a good overtaking opportunity. Lucas SL, though, really on the back end of the Haas driver up in front of Tom 97. I'm just looking sort of towards this mid-pack area as I'm sort of seeing Spezzi and Lucas Serrera. You know, they're sort of in with each other. They're going to try and work together, try and work their way up through the order. But someone who, you know, Oscar King just showing why he belongs here, maybe as a main driver. Won in Australia, started P18, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, not started about P16 then. And has already made his way back up towards this top 10. And not only that, but looking towards maybe a top 7, top 5. I mean, with his pace, he could probably try and get into the top 5. But Lucas Herrera getting the move done onto Krysic down the inside. They're going to remain side by side. What is this camera, EA? Leaving just enough racing room. Could have been deemed as a not enough. But then you can see Spezzi. He's going to be able to try and also capitalize on the overtake from Lucas Herrera. But Krysic on the exit gets the better speed and will remain into that P11 spot. Really nice racing between these three. This is why PSGL is one of the most famous leagues in the F1 scene. It's just because of the sort of standards and, you know, look at this. Spezzi down towards the outside line. He may even look for a move on towards Lucas Herrera. No, not enough straight. But I think we could maybe even see him look for a move into this middle sector. They're sort of fluttering around the sort of this DRS zone. But back to what I was saying of PSGL, the racing etiquette scene, the competitiveness of each tier, it's quite remarkable. you know, obviously with it being quite popular and stuff, I mean, PSGL is where it's at. And it's the best league to get better at, in my opinion, because it forces you to go no assists, and that's the best way to improve, is go into the deep end. And Oscar Villacampa is remaining in his P6 spot. I mean, I don't expect any overtakes to be made, but Tom 97 almost out of the DRS of the top 2. This could be quite bad, and unless he's planning to box soon, this might be bad for him, as he is sort of fluttering around that danger zone. So, also Max Bellman maybe even looking for a move on his own teammate. That gap was less than a tenth going to the bus stop, and obviously he's just remained in behind. So, you can just see all the way down to Mathieu, Jesus into P14. This DRS train is massive. Formula Kai as well, by the way, gone under my radar. Up 6 positions. Started P19 in this race, up to P13. And you know what? I think he could have a chance here at a top 10. So don't blow that under the cover, because he does have Mathieu going for the move. And these guys work together. I think they could capitalize and catch up towards this DRS train. As these guys start closing together, they'll start to capitalize and start gaining a lot more and a lot quicker. Max Bellman, though, just staying where he started, and also the only EA driver, obviously PSGL allowing EA people to sign up. It used to just be Steam, if I'm not mistaken, but Season 40 was a turning point, and now EA Play drivers can, not EA Play, but EA users can now race in the PSGL tiers, and it really just means that there's a lot more fast drivers to be discovered, and I love it. I love this league. It's amazing. I'm not glazing. I'm being honest, but Alexander here, I think he should try and get a move done on Lorenz Patton. Obviously, these guys on the same strategy, like about 3/4 of the grid, so it wouldn't hurt to maybe try and take the lead. You know, maybe even try and show off your pace here and be like, I think I could try and drop. But to be really honest, Lorenz Patton really showing remarkable pace, not only leading Alexander Croft, but almost allowing the top 2 to sort of drop out of Tom 97. Drop him out, you know. As whenever you're dropping someone out, when you're in a 3-man trail, but anyway, making moves now is Will Gibson, as up towards, you can also see Oscar King also capitalizing on the Will Gibson move, as down the inside Oscar King will go up towards the P7. Oscar King is unstoppable right now. Will Gibson finally making up ground, as he will probably also try and get a move done onto the 2 medium runners before they box, but Oscar King, I mean, bow down to him. He's doing remarkably well, starting sort of towards the bottom end of the grid, something that not many drivers can say they can do. But Oscar King showing remarkable pace, and not only that, but remarkable racecraft, as just picking the right points to make the overtakes. I mean, he did it on Kryzik, and he also has just done it on Oscar Villacampa, so I applaud you, Oscar King. You are one to watch for this season. Will Gibson, I'm excited to see what he can do, as, you know, he's sort of gone under my radar a little bit. He's not made many moves, but he is closing in ever so slowly on Max Bellman in the front, and Tom 97, yet again, really close, but now he's opting to box, and Lucas SL, same, if I'm not mistaken, yeah, they're both opting to box, so the medium runners are now in, so this is the time for the hard runners to sort of just go. I want to see, during this pit stop phase, where will the medium runners going on to the hards come out? Or, you know, be in retrospective of these hard runners. It's a good strategy. I like it. from Tom 97, obviously allowing his teammate to pass, but will probably re-overtake as he in the next few laps, as obviously he will have the better tyres. But I like this medium idea, or, you know, try and go for that undercut. You know, if these guys don't box soon, that undercut's going to be powerful, and by the time they're on mediums, these hards are going to be powering like a medium. So things are going to level out. And so Tom 97 may even have gone for that undercut to maybe take the lead of the race. I mean, he'll lose pace on his first lap, and then second and third and fourth, that's where you go. But also, I'm just going to say this as a personal view, the hards around this track feel absolutely amazing. Like, they are so easy to drive. It's just that, you know, the tyre temps, which is the most important thing. But driving them, amazing. When they are gripped up, it feels like a medium tyre. And they are a joy to drive. And Isaac really closing in on Spezzy. 0.38. And, I mean, this DRS, I think it was a 0.5 at the start of the lap. So, the gap's fluctuating, but slowly dropping. That's just what happens in our DRS train. But this is allowing Ryan Jacobs, this whole DRS train is allowing Ryan Jacobs, Tom 97 and Lucas Hassel to really catch up, as the gap at the start of the lap was 11.8 and it was 10.9. And that's someone leading with just one lap newer tyre. But during that, Lorenz Patton down towards the P2. Alexander Kraft has decided to retake the lead. And this is probably the best time to, as these guys are nearing their pit window. So, track position is going to be the most vital thing right now, as Tom 97 does move up onto his teammate. And I also saw Will Gibson and Oscar King. I think they were having a little bit of a tussle. I can't remember. There was or was it Oscar Villacampa? Or was it Tech Tubi, actually? Tech Tubi is really also basically done what Oscar King started P12 up towards P6 now. Oscar King started P16 up to P5. So, two drivers on a massive comeback drive, and not only looking at staying where they are, but looking further for those top three positions. So, I'm very excited to see what these guys can produce towards the end of this race. And Lucas Herrera as well started P18. Right now, P8, and could be maybe potentially look for a move on Oscar Villacampa very soon. But Max Bellman is having to try and lead a train while being knocked out of the DRS of the front two. And that's just because his teammate and Tom 97 boxed. So he loses out a lot of time. And already, talking about Tom 97, he's cut the gap massively down. A second a lap. That is remarkable. And by the time these guys box, I mean, I think Tom 97 will take the lead when the hard runners do box in the next 2 or 3 laps. I think we can see there in the background. Going a little bit defensive, Will Gibson. He does have the mighty Oscar King behind. And I think Will Gibson has taken a mental note of Oscar King is doing a remarkable comeback drive. I need to watch for him. And watch for him you do indeed, as, I mean, where he is right now. Remarkable position, P5. I don't know what to say about Oscar King. He's a reserve driver, but has the chance to go for the championship. I mean, a win here will just propel him into the lead even more. But even a P3 would look amazing for him. I mean, a P1, a P3, what else could this guy produce in today's race? And maybe into the future races. But I'm very excited to see this end stage of the race. Now, I'm waiting for these guys to box, as I really want to see where Tom 97 does come out. He's really working those hard compound tyres, as not just half a lap, maybe a little bit, well, 2/3 of a lap, and he's cut the gap down even more by 2 seconds, almost 2.5. It started 11, And it's already at 9. So, Tom 97 on those hards, really doing well. And he's dragging his teammate with him, which is the biggest thing. He's helping out Ryan Jacobs, but Lucas SL may be looking for a move very, very soon. Oscar King, though, down the Camel straight, not tucking in to Will Gibson's slipstream. And it wasn't even on Max Bellman's slipstream. So I wonder what the strategy there is. I do know some people just come out of the slipstream to cool down the tires, to cool down the engine, you know, that sort of thing. Especially when your tires are this old, coming up the slipstream is, you know, is a quite common thing. So I understand maybe Will Gibson's doing that, but also going defensive. But Oscar King was just in between the two. So is that a scare tactic? Is that maybe like just trying to remain where he is? Maybe Oscar King is just waiting for the pit phase and then he's going to attack for the top 3. This gets me thinking. It really does. I like this sort of thing. I may be thinking too deeply into it, but, you know, I'm just showing out possible ideas for you guys in the YouTube chat. Now, Lorenz Patton is nicely, calmly into that P2 spot now. Will we see people boxing? No. Another lap of, on these hards. These guys are just trying to get as much as an offset over Tom 97 and the other media, you know, Lucas and Daniel Hope. They're going to try and get as much as a tire offset as they possibly can coming in towards the latter stages of the race. And obviously we can see Lucas Ferreira, Spezzi, and obviously Machu into their P15. They're just coming out of the pits and they're not far behind Tom 97 and his gang. You can just see them up the road there. Lucas SL, though, has actually been knocked out of Tom 97's DRS, which is not ideal. When you're on the same strategy as the guy in front and he knocks you out. And I think that's just the thing of, it's because Ryan Jacobs separated them. So, maybe a little bit of a team play, maybe just wrong place, wrong time. It could be anything. One thing I have seen from this season's calendar is there is a lot of tracks similar to, you know, Spa in the technicality, and in Australia with the sort of how quick of a track, you know, the average speed around both these tracks is remarkably high. So it's a quite common theme this season from what I've seen, and you know, it just shows. No, it's a really good calendar. I'm very happy with the calendar we have this season in PSGL. Because it makes drivers really show off their skill set, as Lorenz Patton does come into the pits on lap 15. Now, where does Tom 97 come? What's Lorenz Patton come out in, you know, remarks to Tom 97? Will they see each other? No, he's just changing the tyres now. So Tom 97 will come out in provisionally, I believe, into that P1 spot. Just about that into the P1 spot. So, with 7 laps to go, Tom 97 could have a chance at a podium here, which would be amazing. I mean, he had one hell of a season back into F7 last season, so I wonder, maybe F125 was his wake-up call. Because he's shown a remarkable pace. I mean, he won 2 races in F7. He got P4 in round 1. And it looks like he's got a not guarantee, but, you know, he's got a comfortable, probably top 5 today. So, Tom 97 could be on a championship charge. I mean, he just missed out in F7. With, obviously, I can't remember who actually won F7. I want to say it was either Tektubi or Spezzi. Because I believe those were the 2 that were really fighting him for it. So, this season already, Tom 97's left the session. Tom 97's left the session. He's had What's happened? I was just... Oh, commentators cursed him. Oh, my lord. What has happened? I was just talking about how well he was doing and how good of a race he could have had. And he's left the session. Has his internet gone? What has happened? Oh, my. Oh, my, oh, my. I clicked the wrong button. I meant to click 1 because Max Bellman leads the Belgium race with Will Gibson in behind, and Spezzy, oh, he's shown remarkable pace in the mediums, but Tom 97. What has happened? Alexander Kraft, though, has come out side by side with Lucas SL here. Tom 97. Dropping through the order, but Alexander Kraft already making remarkable moves into the car. I'm getting the inside line for the final bit of it. And that's going to be him up to P6. And he's got his eyes set on the back end of that kick Sauber in the front. And we're definitely probably going to see Max Bellman and Will Gibson box at the end of this lap. I don't think they will go any longer, but they will most definitely have that tyre offset. Now, Tom 97, despite just rejoining the game, I think he can have one hell of a comeback. As he is back racing, as you can tell, he takes control of that Haas, and he's got a lot to do, but he's a renowned league racer. I know he can do it. All you got to do is have faith, and you can do anything. Now, Alexander Kraft already closing in on Lorenz Patton, and I think now is the best opportunity to try and get that move done. The people in front of you are going to box. You are in that provisional lead. Try and get the move done. Try and get the track position. He has that one lap tyre offset, so he's got about 4% over Lorenz Patton here. Maybe a little bit more, maybe a little bit less. So we will surely see a move done for the provisional lead between these two. Yeah, as you can just see, Alexander Kraft into the DRS, and Lorenz Patton just gives him the racing line. And Alexander Kraft moves up into that provisional lead of the race. Now, one thing I would like to say is Lucas SL in sort of a good area. He's got the 3-lap medium runners, Lucas Herrera and Spezzy, behind him. And sooner or later, those mediums aren't going to be as quick as they were before. So, his chances as a win may be slim, but his chance at a top 3, or maybe even a top 5, are quite remarkably high. Bezzy. Okay, Lucas Serrera does just get into that DRS range. I'm just seeing right now. Oscar King. What's happened to him? I mean, there's 3 people in front of him that hasn't boxed, so he goes to P6 probably. But Lucas Herrera and Spezzy went for the undercut. So I see why Oscar King is here. He will surely be able to get a move done, as he's only 2 tenths in behind Spezzy here. And that gap is falling. As already before the DRS zone, he is ahead. The DRS now, he's got the slipstream of Lucas SL in front, and he's just going to be able to propel himself forward. As a little bit of a cut on track there from Lucas Herrera. These guys are side by side. It's the position for 6 and 7. And Oscar King, yet again, is able to just... It's raining. It's starting to rain. Oscar King is able to get on through, but it has started to rain, ladies and gentlemen. 4 laps to go. Will it get wet enough for any need to will it get wet enough for any sort of need to box for those intermediate compound tyre? Machu gets a 3-second time penalty. And now this race is starting to get spicy. I think the front three were waiting for this very moment. It's raining heavily, actually. You can see the drops on the screen now. It may get wet enough, and this may be masterclass from Will Gibson, Kreisig, and Max Bellman. As you can just see, yeah, definitely wet, especially on those 17-lap-old tyres. Some medium runners aren't boxing. Alexander Kraft, he's opted to stay out. He's like, you know what? It's only 3 laps. I'll be able to hold this lead. Is everyone going to box though? That's the question. You can definitely see Ryan Jacobs there struggling on the tyres. It is getting wet quick. And I think Max Bellman and Alexander Kraft has just blundered their race. Same with Oscar Villacampi. Villacamper. Will Gibson has somehow just turned his race around. Daniel Hope has been disqualified from the session. Oh my. I am sorry for all you Daniel Hope fans in the chat, but sadly, he's been disqualified. This race has just been flipped all the way around. Tom 97 is now somehow looking back at points. I feel so bad for commentators casting him, but already, he's just showing why he is an amazing league racer as he's catching the back end of the Aston up in front. I did not expect it to get wet. So the front three are going to have to box, but whereabouts are they going to end up? I'm thinking Oscar Villacamper, he's not, he's not got a massive gap. I mean, the pit lane around Spa is about 19 to 21 seconds long, if I'm not mistaken, and already moves are being made. They are side by side. Not Oscar Villacamper, but Lucas Herrera and Lucas SL. They are fighting each other, and we have a safety car, or a virtual safety car. What for? What has happened? That came off that. McLaren's got wing damage. Yeah, you can see it on the car. We have a safety car come out. This race has... Oh my god, what has happened in Belgium today? Max Bellman will provisionally take the lead. Surely. We have a safety car. The safety car will come in on lap 21. Or probably even lap 20. The safety car will be in probably this lap. So we will have 2 laps to go for racing, which just means anything can happen from now until the end. This race is about to get absolutely crazy. Get your popcorn, as Will Gibson will be coming into P2 with Max Bellman into that P1 spot. This race, I'm standing up for the remainder of this race. I am excited. We have a safety car is going to come in this lap, and we are going to be go, 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 as I believe it was Giovanni there. It's slow and really just entering Sector 2. I think he's had a little bit of a wobble and caused this safety car by accident. Some people boxing for those mediums, Tom 97, could maybe try and recover where he qualified. He's got Kreisig and Tech 2B up in front of him, but I surely do think that the mighty 97 can find the pace to get past the people in front. But one thing is this top 3 is going to be ones to watch. Well, to be honest, no, everyone's going to be a ones to watch. But this top 3, exactly, Will Gibson started P7, got up to P2, stayed out long, waited for the wet, and it worked out tremendously from Max Bellman, went for the extra lap gamble, and it's worked even better. Alexander Kraft was the pole sitter and the original race leader, and now he's down towards P3 because he wanted to do a safe pit stop. So much is to win or lose into this final segment of the race. 2 laps to go. When does the safety car come in? This is all win or lose for every single driver in this top 10. Tom's 97 has left the session again. What is happening to the mighty 97? This is just going to allow loads of people behind him to maybe gain. Will he be able to rejoin while we get past this Sector 3 area? Warm up those tyres, guys, as you're about to get spicy for 2 whole laps. This lap and next lap, the provisional lap and the final lap. I'm excited. Get your popcorn, ladies and gentlemen, as it's about to get messy like it did on lap 1. I can't wait. Max Belmont leads the way from Will Gibson, who leads the way from Alexander Kraft, who leads the way from Lorenz Patton, who leads the way from Oscar Villacampa. I've just clicked the wrong button, and I think we are back to that green flag racing. Yes, we are almost, yes. We are back to green flag racing. No overtaking until that line. And let's get messy as down towards turn 1. Overtaking can now resume. Will Gibson technically has more rubbered in intermediate compound tyre. So will he be able to try and get a move done onto Max Bellman to try and take the lead of the race? Tom 97 and Spezzy going side by side is going to be allowing Tom 97 to stay ahead into that P9 spot. Already though, these guys have lost 1.7 seconds to Kreisig up in front, back towards the lead. Max Bellman will lead the way, but Will Gibson is side by side. Through La Source we will go. And it's going to be Will Gibson to take the lead. Max Bellman though has to be careful. Alexander Kraft could try and do what Oscar King did previously in towards the race. P9 and downwards are out of a contention of any more points of any more sort of upwards gain in towards the points, just because of that 2-second gap. I don't believe there'll be any more gaining from Spezzy, Tom 97, Formula Kai, and the rest of the gang below them. Alexander Kraft really needs to try and pull something out of the back pocket if he wants to have any sort of hope of winning this race. He needs to be the man who's going to be P2 on track to have a go at Will Gibson, because I don't know if he can do what Oscar King did back at the midway point of the race. As it seems right now, off the track goes Lorenz Patton in the background. But I think we're going to see Alexander Kraft and Max Bellman side by side into the bus stop chicane. Yes, we will. The outside turns towards the inside, but he gets the move done right during the braking zone. That's essential for Alexander Kraft. As on to the final lap we will go. Tech Tubi is up a position on Kreisig, so I was maybe wrong, or they were just having a bit of a scruffle. Back towards the lead now. It is going to be Will Gibson, but Alexander Kraft is not far behind, with Max Bellman just chasing the two of them. It's coming all down towards this final lap. It rained 4 laps ago. We had a safety car that ended the lap it was called out. This is about to be cinema, as down the Kemmel Straight we will go. Alexander Kraft is slowly closing in, but Will Gibson will remain ahead through Lecom. The gap is now 3 tenths. This is all for the win. I would say Max Bellman might be out of it. 8 tenths. I don't know if he'll be able to win, but he could try and sort of get that P2 back that he may as well rightfully deserve with his strategy. Alexander Kraft, though, I mean, we know he's a fabulous racer. We know he's a maestro in the wet. Think back to the Australia qualifying. So what can he do? As towards the middle part of Sector 2 we will come, and that gap is now almost 7 tenths. It's now 5 tenths, so it is slowly losing, but I think Will Gibson might be able to safely be able to call him the race winner, as it's a straight into the bus stop chicane. So Alexander Kraft has to burn absolutely everything if he's going to gain going through Blanchemont in before the bus stop chicane. Will it be enough though? I don't think it will. He's going to have to send it, but he's too far back. So Will Gibson will come through the bus stop chicane as long as he doesn't spin on the exit. He will be the race winner of round 2. He sees the checkered flag waving. He crosses the line. It's Will Gibson to take that win in round 2 PC F5. Alexander Kraft getting yet another P2 here in PSGL. It's then Max Bellman who comes home into that rightful P3 spot. What an absolute roller coaster of a race here in Belgium, and that's why you got to love it. Anything can happen, absolutely anything, and Will Gibson, well deserved, my friend. That strategy was on point. Wait until the wet and let's go, go, go. I don't think many drivers expected it, because only 3 out of the 19 stayed out. Not include, obviously, 2 people retired. But anyway, let's get on towards this sort of title, not title, but the post-race screen, as Will Gibson does win the race. Starting P7, finishing P1. His strategy was absolutely on point. Alexander Kraft finishes in P2, with Max Bellman finishing in P3. Alexander did have the fastest lap. Lorenz Patton finishes in that P4 spot, with Lucas Herrera in P5. Tekchubi, Oscar Villacampa and Kreisig finish P6, 7 and 8. Spezzi and Tom97, who does clinch some points in today's race, finish P9 and P10, with Formula Kai having a great race, up 8 positions starting P19, with Ryan Jacobs having a very disappointing race, and that's just because of what happened on the opening lap. Lucas SL rounds out the top 13. What a race here in PSGL F5. I'm shocked, to say the least. Oh my, I was standing up, to say the least. Like, I'm starstruck. I don't know what to say. I was not expecting Will Gibson to win that race. I mean, I said, show us what you got, and he definitely showed us what he had, because what an absolute astounding race win for the man who's, I mean, you just don't expect it. So many drivers having such an amazing sort of stint in that race. Like, I'm starstruck. I don't know what to say anymore. And yeah, it was just one hell of a race. Now, let's actually talk about the calendar, as for the next round, you will be seeing me and hopefully Alex Bagnall at Austin, Texas, for the mighty round 3. And then we do have a week break between that, and then we come back for the Double Stop Mania Monaco. And hopefully that race will be amazing, because I do know that it is actually possible to overtake around Monaco. And then we have Austin, Canada, Britain and Mexico before our week break. And then Consul have Mexico after the week break. And then we have Jeddah, Brazil and Abu Dhabi, which is going to be amazing, because I can just sense that we are going to have at least 2 or 3 drivers going for this championship run. So, Yas Marina is hopefully where we will all be called out, maybe even Brazil. But what can I say other than thank you for joining me for round 2 here in Belgium. I almost said Brazil. But no, I said Belgium. It was one hell of an absolute race. Go show your support to your drivers, and obviously show your support to the PSGL YouTube channel. Make sure to subscribe, hit the like for the stream, and I thank you so much for joining us today. And I mean, it was cinema from start to finish. So much action was going off, barely a dry patch, and I mean, of course there was no dry patches as it started to rain. I mean, one thing led to another, and Will Gibson was your race winner. I'm very excited to be able to say that, because I was not, expecting it. But anyway, I will see you back here next week for round 3 around Austin, Texas. I hope you all have an amazing rest of your evening. Thank you for joining me. I'm Logan Edward, your PC F5 commentator, and goodbye. out.